What is up, guys? Welcome back to Flow State, and an especially warm welcome back to my illustrious co-host, who I know for a fact I've missed dearly, and I know as well the people have missed dearly because I go on Spotify, the kind of Spotify for creators where we upload the episodes to look at my analytics, and frankly, people don't like me as much as they like us together. And who knows, that might be because we come better as a team. It might be because people don't want to hear me talk smack for best part of an hour without Adam to break me up. But definitely I noticed there was a decline in our viewership, which is completely understandable because Adam is fantastic and it's fantastic to have him back. So Adam, first and foremost, mate, welcome back. And how are you?
Thanks a million, mate. Yeah, it's great to be back. Great to be chatting to you. And I think you've hit the nail on the head, mate. We are better as a team.
I think so.
We're definitely better as that sort of working together and having a good chat, having a bit of crack. And no, mate, it's great to be back and great to see you. As I said to you off the recording there, it's it's nice to be back into a bit of routine and back into a bit of normality and the usual Friday podcasting. We actually had a slightly different Friday this morning. We started another little social run in town with a cafe here.
I did see that. Yeah, how did that
So
go?
I'm great. I'm just literally just home from that. So yeah, it was great. We had super turnout and it was nice because they literally have their coffee shop right beside Lurgan Park, so we could do our 5k around the park and then finish up back at the cafe for a nice cup of coffee and then straight home and to see your lovely face back in front of me. So it was great,
What a
mate. We had a great
wonderful
turnout.
morning.
Lovely morning. So
I was
nice way
actually
to
going to
start the
ask
Friday.
with that, just to, I guess, dive right into things. Did you approach the cafe for that, or did they come and do they know you as a local that runs and
Yeah,
let's get that guy in?
I'm really friendly with the guys that own the cafe because myself and Kira are never out of there. So they just had asked, would we be happy to kind of lead on a social run? I think to trial it over the summer months. It's a bit of a strange one because, not strange, but the time of it is going to be as we approach winter and so on. It could be a little bit tricky because I think it's 7:30 in the morning, so that's not going to suit everyone who are traveling to work and have kids to get to school and everything else. So maybe for the summer months it might work well, and then we might have to sort of look at it coming into winter and maybe move it or do something slightly different. But yeah, we had a great, I just popped up a couple of photographs on Instagram. We had a class turnout this morning. The rain stayed away and yeah, we got back for a nice chat and a nice flat white at Sela there in Lurgan. So shout out to them. Yeah, like I said, myself and Kira have gotten really friendly with them over the last couple of years that they've been opened. So yeah, nice to do it, and it's a stone's throw from home, so don't have to travel too far. It works nicely, so that was good fun.
That's fantastic, man. What kind of numbers are we talking,
mate? Maybe 40.
What?
Maybe 40
people?
Yeah, maybe.
That's fantastic.
I've got a photograph. I'm not going to count them, but I'll have a quick check here.
No, I expect you fully to count them on air.
Yeah, maybe between 30 and 40, I'm going to say.
That's actually, I'm quite impressed.
Good turnout. I mean, we do the other social run with the sports shop on a Wednesday night in McKeever's in Lurgan here, and it's quite nice because Wednesday evening is going to suit certain people, and a Friday morning is going to suit other people.
Definitely.
So it kind of offers both, and I mean, they're both pretty much the same thing, like a 5k social run. We stick together and everyone has a chat, and it's not a training session, it's not a race, it's very much a social event. So yeah, it was good fun, and hopefully now we can just continue to build on a bit of momentum with it and make it something, because I enjoy it. You know, it's nice. It's a nice thing for myself and Kira to do a couple of times a week. Yeah, good crack.
You going to head out for a run later today, or is that kind of your mileage, the 5k?
No,
easy?
I'll get a jog in today, I think. I'll probably go out mid-morning after we finish up here, and yeah, I'll get maybe up to 1 hour of jogging in. So the last couple of weeks, I mean, we'll come to it, but being off and away on holiday, routines are very different, and training has been very different and haphazard. So trying to sort of now get back into some higher mileage, higher volume, and starting to build for Dublin Marathon, which is looming.
How long have we got till Dublin?
Well, that's a good question, mate. I feel like I'm a bit all over the place. I've got my little whiteboard in front of me, and
Put you on the
I've
spot
got.
already, mate.
I know, mate. I'm not prepared. No, I have. Feeling very unprepared and haphazard. But let me just look because I've just pulled Training Peaks up. Of course, I don't even have Dublin Marathon input into my Training Peaks yet. I'm gonna say it's the 26th of October, so that's July to August, 3 months, 12 weeks,
It's
13
not
weeks.
far.
It's not
About
far,
the same
so
time as Melbourne. Yeah,
yep. So
yeah.
like I say, I have the whiteboard here beside me with nothing written on it. So it's time now to make use of that. I like kind
Yep.
of what I do on the whiteboard is I use it for work and sort of general to do, but I also like using it for training. So I kind of have like my races written on the whiteboard, and then I kind of put in like little KPIs for the training week that I kind of want to focus on. So, I'll put in the kind of key sessions for the week, or the key types of training, like the purpose of the sessions that I want to do that
Yep.
week. And then I'll design the workouts around that. So I kind of really like doing that for London. And I think it worked really well because it allowed me to kind of be quite intentional with what I was doing on a weekly basis, but also creative with it and kind of on the spot as well, and sort of reactive to how my body was feeling and how my mind kind of was feeling. And when you understand the training and you understand what you're trying to do, I guess you can be a bit more creative with the workouts. And if you just know what you're trying to achieve from the workout, you can design a workout around that. So I'll have to get the whiteboard going again over the next couple of days. So I'll write it. I'll do a little countdown on how many days we have until the race, and I like kind of updating that each day. So I know now we're definitely within 100 days, and that's when I started doing it for London. So I really do need to get the whiteboard going again for London, or for Dublin, sorry.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the countdowns because we kind of did it for Ballarat and London pretty early on, so we're gonna have to start doing it. It's a shame it's not on the same weekend again. That worked out so well having Ballarat and London because you didn't have to think about it. It was just like, yeah, we can chat
Yeah,
together.
that was class.
Same chat, man. How good is that? Obviously.
Tell me this:
but now
when is Melbourne? What date?
great question, mate, and I don't know the answer off the top of my head. It's in my diary. It's my turn to
You're a
be
busy man.
caught off guard. I'm a very busy man at this stage, but I do have it in my diary, and I can tell you it is on the 12th, Sunday, the 12th of October. So it's a couple of weeks, a couple of weeks before Dublin. Yeah, it's actually strikingly close. Now, come to mention that, it's quite daunting because
I think it's not funny. Sorry to interrupt you, Luke, but isn't it
go,
funny
go.
how kind of when you say something's 10 weeks away, it sounds really, really close, and then when you talk about months, if you're to say like, oh, my race is on the 12th of October, and you look at the date and it's 25th of July, that then feels like a
It
really
feels
long
further.
time away. When you say 10
Yeah.
weeks, so it's like that's close.
That's not far, mate. Even
It's just
even when you put like 10 weeks into 2.5 months, I'm like, fuck, that is not far, mate. Like that, you get to an age. I know they talk about this all the time. Like, why does life feel like it's going so slow as a kid? And it's time dilation, right? It's like each day is such a like long section of your life, but obviously that becomes then a smaller chunk as you get older, and so time feels like it passes really quick. And there's also time dilation as a result of like you get into with like very habitual beings, and the more you have a habitual lifestyle, the quicker time goes. And so realistically, like 2.5 months, I'm thinking back now 2.5 months, and what that would have been like what is it? That's kind of the time we did London and Ballarat, and like that doesn't feel that long ago. So
Gosh.
it's kind of scary when you put it into perspective like that, and especially given that right now the thought of doing a marathon is not like that attractive. I'm not like, yes, let's go.
Me and
And
you
I've
both.
just come off exactly right. So I've just come off the back of Run Melbourne half, and that was great fun. But the thought of doing a full marathon, that's a different ball game, man.
Yeah, but you know
Um,
what? I think that's a good point as well, actually, just for the listeners. Like, you don't have to feel like you're ready to run a marathon now, or even like
True.
mentally want to run a marathon, because the motivation to run it and the feeling and the want to run it will come with the training that you're going to do. And I think if you felt like you're ready to run a marathon now, you're probably
Peak too
not
soon.
necessarily exactly, both mentally and physically. you know?
Yeah,
So
true.
it's like it's time for fight camp.
Mm-hmm. Percent. And
Time
look,
to get ready.
before we get into that, why don't we? Because obviously, I recapped my last couple of weeks of training last week and then a couple of weeks prior. I want to hear what's been happening with you, man. Like, obviously, how was the holiday? How did running fit into that? And obviously, how's this week been? Because you've been back since Saturday, we were talking about. So it's been 6 full days.
Yeah, well,
So
mentioning just when I mentioned fight camp there, the day we last spoke, which was Friday, mate, it was a while ago now, wasn't it?
it
It
was
was
three,
was it
4 weeks.
so it was Friday, wasn't it? Yeah, it was, mate, it was Friday the 27th of June.
So it's literally a month
Is
ago,
that right?
man.
Is that
Yeah,
right?
sounds right. Sounds right.
But anyways, that day I was out for an afternoon run and I got into a fight with a car door. I haven't told you this yet.
What? Did you win?
Um, no, I didn't. So
Damn.
pretty random out in a run. I wanted to tell you this actually, and then I just completely forgot. But
Mm.
was out that Friday, and yeah, so it was the week it was the week before we went on holiday, and jogging through town here, and was like half a mile from home, and basically running down quite a busy street where there's like a fruit shop on the left where they have their fruit like displayed on the street. You know how fruit shops here they have like the on
I
street
know it.
display, which
Yeah.
probably isn't the most hygienic thing in the world. Now I think about it, when cars are pulling up beside the
Yeah, it was it was fine
beside
like
the fresh
100 years
fruit.
ago. Yeah, but not so much now.
Horses and carriages, but no,
Exactly.
cars and buses pulling up like 2 feet away from the fruit probably isn't the best thing. But anyway, most of the fruit has skin that you peel, so I'm going to say that protects it. But it's beside the point. I was running along, and where the path got really narrow between the fruit shop and the edge of the pedestrian path. Basically, as I was running through that section, a car door opened right on me, and I went head over shite, for want of a better phrase, and got totally wiped out by this car door. So I actually thought when I was hit the deck pretty hard,
So
and
just I need to get the details correct. Is it like a bike situation where it opened in front of you and then you kind of went into it and around, or did it actually open as you were running past and knock you to the side?
the first of those two.
Okay, so the bike situation, the classic, it opened and you ran into it and went head over
Yep.
tit.
Well, to be honest, I'd love to say I knew what happened because
Right.
I still haven't seen the car door. Like it came out of nowhere, and I'm not even exaggerating to try to make up a funny story. I actually when I was on the floor, because I got pretty badly hurt.
Yeah,
When
right.
I was on the floor, lying in a heap, like I was wearing AirPods, and one of my AirPods landed across the street. So one of the
That's
guys that got out of the car, he went and grabbed one of my AirPod off the main road. So the AirPod had went flying. I was lying in a heap on the ground, and I thought for sure I'd ran into like a park bench, or sorry, like a like a bench that you would sit on,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bin, like
Mhm.
a street bin, because
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't see a door opening. So I think this door opened right as I was
Gotcha.
at it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also don't think I was looking. I think I might have been looking across the street. I don't think I was looking straight ahead. So
Mhm.
basically, when it happened, I was very confused as to what I'd hit. All I know is that I completely got the wind taken out of my sails, and
Mm.
was lying in a heap in a fair bit of pain on the ground. But obviously, when something like that happens, you just want to jump up. But
Mhm.
yeah, I got a pretty bad knock. It's not my first fall this year either. I've had a few, but pretty bad bruising up my leg, and I think my toe is broken. Big toe on my left foot. 3 weeks on, in fact, almost a month on. Big toe on my left foot is still very very sore.
I don't know why. I thought you were about to show us there. You kind of actioned, and I was like, man, he's going to get his toe up and show us like this
No,
purple
mate.
thing. Oh
You pay
man.
for that.
Yeah, I know.
No,
That's on
so
the
listen.
subscribers only.
Yeah. So that was the Friday before we went on holiday. That was literally the last day we chatted. That was later that afternoon.
Shit.
So that was a bit of drama, mate. So that kind of like it didn't really impact training, to be honest, because I just got on with it. But I was pretty stiff and pretty sore for a good week. And like I said, the toe still, it was actually getting better, and then now it's really sore again. Probably because I'm continuing to run, but
Mm.
yeah, I think it's fine.
They're
But
super delicate is the problem. So it's like it can feel like it's broken, but it's just like the soft tissue's probably like a little bit torn up. And it's like, what can you do with toes, man? It's not like you can
nothing.
just stop walking. They just
Same when I
heal
was playing
super slow.
football. You know,
Mm.
you would get knocks around the feet and stuff, and your toes
Mhm.
especially, and you just crack on, don't you?
Mm.
Um, that was that Friday. So I wanted to tell you about that first. So yeah, it's been a bit of an accident prone year. You know, along with the fall. Do you remember when I was doing the marathon training and I
Of
ripped my
course I
knee
do,
open?
man.
That's
I
nowhere
see in
near.
I see in your pictures you've still got like marks, don't you, on your knee
It's
from that? Like
yeah.
that's
I don't know,
bad.
mate. That scar is going to be around for a long time. It's like it's
It's a
blue.
that's a doozy.
So what?
A
I've never
doozy?
heard that before in my life.
What? I think it's an American term
Nah,
where
what
it's
is that?
just like,
A scar?
nah, like you've just done a number on it, right? So if you
Ah,
go,
right, yeah,
oh mate,
yeah.
oh what
I
a
get that.
doozy, yeah,
Mm.
you've just, oh mate, you've done a real number on that. So
Makes me sound like a bit of an idiot. So
no,
that was
you're not an Egypt. Say it again, Egypt. Do you want to explain what an Egypt is?
good effort, mate. An idiot.
Yeah, it's
An
an
idiot's
Egypt.
just uh
Is it idiot? Isn't the word like just you
silly
guys saying,
person.
yeah,
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 yeah, a bit of
and
an
it's
idiot.
and correct me if
Yeah,
I'm
idiot.
wrong. You have to precede it in saying, ah, you feckin' Egypt.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is
Mate,
that
you sound like a
correct?
leprechaun. That's right. Yeah, well done. But you know
Sound like a
what?
leprechaun.
It's
Bro,
not
that's
as
not very woke of you.
calling somebody an idiot. It's not as I feel like it's not as
It's not that
I can't think.
aggressive. It's quite
No,
light-hearted,
whereas
isn't it?
when you call someone an idiot, it's a bit more aggressive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair.
you can get away with calling somebody an idiot. You can't really get away with calling somebody an idiot, can you?
I almost want to be called an idiot. I don't know. I feel like it's special, right? It's like an English person
Uh,
calling an English mum calling someone love. It's just like
yeah,
you want it, you crave it.
yeah. Remember when
Sorry,
I was living
we
in Liverpool, you used to
go
go in
on.
places like the school dinner ladies or someone in the supermarket that serving you would call you lovely in their little Scouse accent. I
Yeah.
always like that. It always made you feel
Oh
like
yes. I mean, I don't know if nice and
warm and fuzzy
Scouse go in
inside.
it, but Scouse really.
I like Scouse people, man. Yeah, I do.
You support Liverpool, so it makes sense.
Mm. You're just a posh Londoner.
Nah, bro. See, I support a
Just
West London team, but I live in South East, so everyone sounds like this.
few people have actually said to me, mate, like randomly, they've been like, "Oh, your mate from London, is he dead posh because he supports Chelsea?" They just think you're like a
Nah,
Chelsea boy.
see, we if you support Chelsea, you're almost like guaranteed. The posh people support Fulham most of the time.
Aye, true, true. I took a
Fulham
rundown.
is
I took a rundown round there when I was in London last, and that's a nice
yeah,
spot, mate.
it is, mate.
That's a well-to-do area, isn't it?
To be honest, like again, I've been Stamford Bridge, which is in Fulham. So Chelsea, for the listeners, this is now a football podcast. Enjoy Chelsea, or where Chelsea was founded, and where our stadium Stamford Bridge is actually in Fulham. The train station you get off at is Fulham Broadway, and we're literally down the road from Fulham Football Club. Yeah, the demographic for Chelsea's fans, like I'm sure there's posh people, but there's probably posh people that support Arsenal. But yeah, now we're not posh because we support Chelsea. Like to be honest, we're South East. I support Chelsea because my dad supports Chelsea. So you kind of yeah. Now all the Chelsea fans sound like this, and we all taxi drivers and whatnot. So yeah,
Yeah, cool. Um,
and football podcasting done for the day. So Adam, again, we were talking about running a minute ago. Where did that go? Where were we?
yeah. So got hit by the car door, and then I just
That's
cracked
right.
on with training. I got into the next week, and I did. Yeah, I did a bit of training the next week, and then I went off on holidays that Friday, and yeah, when I was on holidays, I kind of intended on just doing a little bit, not too much. At the very most, like 60 minutes per day, but often less. Just that was kind of like the most that I would do. So yeah, got out for like I think I got out for like an hour on the first 2 days. First 3 days, it was dead hot. It was like very, very muggy and very humid.
Mm,
I've ran like 7 o'clock in the morning. It was probably like 24, 25 degrees, but it felt a lot
oof.
hotter.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it was that I don't know, mate. It was really, really, really muggy, really humid, and I'll be honest, I felt pretty crap, to be totally honest, on those runs, on those easy jogs. It was like my body kind of forgot how to run. And I think when you're away, well, for me anyway, I don't know about other people, but when I'm away, like sleeping in a different bed, eating different food, just in a different routine, maybe my body just switches off a bit more because I'm on holiday and
Mm.
like you just go into holiday mode, probably having a little bit more alcohol than usual as well. I just feel like my running just feels terrible. Like I
Hmm.
almost think, am I a runner? Like does my body just forget how to run here? Or it
Mm.
takes me a lot longer. Like, so I'd go out jogging. I'd be running like 6 minute Ks for the first 30 minutes before my body even wakes up. And maybe it's just running at different times and everything else. I don't know. But first couple of days was pretty brutal, along with the heat and just feeling pretty crap. Um, and then the hotel that we were staying had a gym, but the treadmill was broken. So there was a little gym just around the corner from where we were staying, and I bought like a three use pass for the gym.
Mhm.
So I was like, happy days. I'll maybe do a couple of treadmill runs where there's aircon and I can actually get a bit of quality in as well. So I did that on the Tuesday. Um, I did that actually on the Tuesday, the Thursday, and the Friday before we left. It worked quite well because the Friday we had a late flight and we checked out of our hotel. So it meant I could go down, get a little session in before we went to the airport, and also get a shower and get washed up before we headed off. So yeah, all up, like my week on holidays, including the sort of the run when I got home from holiday, because we got home the Friday, I did like 74 miles. So it was actually turned out to be a pretty good week. But with with two good sessions, with some steady and threshold, as well as some like 30-second reps bolted onto the end of both of those, and a decent long run on the Sunday when I got home. So it kind of ticked the main boxes for the week. But then the following week, which was last week, when we headed up to Donegal with family, I think it caught up with me a little bit. So um yeah, just got out on Tuesday and turned back because I felt absolutely awful. And then after that, took a few days off. I think my body just needed it. I was speaking to you last week just over the text, and yeah, I took from Monday till Saturday just totally off because my body was just in the bin, and I just felt like I needed it. So I just took the time, took the downtime, and didn't really do much last week until Saturday. Got out for a 10 mile, and then Sunday out with the group for fairly decent marathon ish session. We did 3 mile, 2 mile, 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile. So 11 miles total of like marathon effort work, all off half-mile jog recoveries. So that was great to get back out with the group, back around the lakes, back to cooler temperatures, back to my own bed and routine where running does tend to feel a bit better. And that's, I guess, hopefully the start of a consistent marathon block. And then we've just came into this week. So yeah, hopefully get the mileage back up, hopefully get the volume back up, get the quality in there. Most importantly for me is kind of managing the body and managing fatigue, because I
Mhm.
think it's when you come back from trips away and back from being out of routine, it's when you're most susceptible to like sickness and tiredness and excessive fatigue. So I'll be can't speak. I think I went to say monitor and managing at the same time. I'll be trying to manage that as carefully as possible just over the next 2 to 3 weeks as I up the volume and get some good get some good training in my body, hopefully.
Yeah, right.
So
A
yeah,
couple
it's
of
been
couple of questions just off the top of my head. First, like you were talking about when obviously you got on the. I mean, I'd be the same as you. If I was on holiday and I'd want to get those quality sessions, I probably wouldn't be confident getting them done outdoors. But given that you were being reactive, how would you or how did you structure those quality sessions on the treadmill while you're aboard? Did you just kind of do what you normally do, just lower volume, or you had
yep.
talk me through that?
So on the Tuesday, um like I said, I was kind of working off the hour, 60 to 70 minutes at most, because I'm quite keen to get back home for the breakfast buffet. Um,
Yeah, damn right.
so on Tuesday, I did 10 minutes, very easy jogging. Usually I might do a slightly longer warm up. Then what I did was the kind of core of the session was to get like about 30 minutes of good threshold, or sort of sub threshold like that. I kind of know where that lies. And again, operating off feeling, like if my body just wasn't feeling great, I'd reduce the intensity a bit. If it was feeling good, I'd up it a little bit towards that kind of upper end of my threshold. But anyways, 10-minute jog. And then I changed my shoes and done like 10 minutes of progressive / steady running. Just to kind of get the body fired up and to get like that low end threshold in a little bit. And then I did 6 times 5 minutes at that kind of upper end of threshold, of a minute recovery. I've just noted here that most of it was around, yeah, so like I've just written beside it here in my little diary, in and around 148 to 150 heart rate. I know my kind of, like my threshold tends mostly to be around, again, we've talked about heart rate and how it can be not the best measure of intensity or the best proxy for intensity, but it's a pretty good one. Heart rate was around 148 to 150. As I say, I know my lactate threshold tends to lie around like 152 to 153. So just nice sub threshold. And then afterwards, I took like a 2-minute recovery and did 5 times 30-second like uphill strides. So just a little bit more in the body, and then just 10 minutes very easy jogging to cool down. And like I said, back home for the baked goods and the breakfast buffet. And then Thursday was much the same, mate. I just did like the same 10-minute jog, 10 minutes progressive. And then instead of doing 6 times 5, I just did 10 by 3 minutes. Just another 30 minutes of threshold volume, a little bit quicker this time because the time duration of each interval is less. And then it's same again, instead of doing 5 times 30-second uphill, I just did 5 times 30 seconds on the flat, pretty fast. And that was it, mate. Like I said, I used the treadmill again on Friday just to get the shower before we headed to the airport. And instead of just doing, like, I cannot jog on a treadmill. I couldn't do even a 45-minute easy run. Like, I just find it way too boring. Yeah,
Yep.
I hate it. So instead of doing that, I actually decided just to do like some really low end intervals. So I just did like 5 times 8 minutes. At what I would call like LT1 feeling. So just like marathon effort, like literally marathon effort, no harder. It was very relaxed. I think they were probably around 6-minute pace on the treadmill. And I did those off like a 1-minute jog, just so I was getting some alternation in the pace. Because like I said, if I were to jog for 60 minutes on treadmill, my mind would I just couldn't do it. So that just broke that up into like quote unquote a session. And then I got home, mate, and it was a heat wave. We had some like ridiculously warm weather that weekend. I did an hour and 15 minutes on the Saturday afternoon because we were home pretty late. It was the early hours of Saturday morning we got home, so didn't get out to 2 o'clock on Saturday, which was a mistake because it was very hot. But yeah, did like an hour and 15 minutes, and then on the Sunday I got out for 18 miles on my own. 2 hours, 6 per mile pace, and I've just written beside it that was shit because it was brutal hot. And like I said, I think being away and the heat whilst away was just catching up with me a bit. So realistically, I should have slowed down a lot in that run and just ran easy. But I think, I was on my own. I think I just wanted to get it done and get it banked.
Yeah.
And that run probably is the reason why I had to take like 4 days off last week, because that caught up with me big time. And then I just ended up having to take, like, whilst we were away in Donegal, I just took like Monday to Friday off, Tuesday to Friday off, sorry, because my body just felt like it needed it. So that was probably the little straw that broke the camel's back at the end of that week. Just I didn't even realize, maybe it wasn't that sort of made me feel like I needed the break, but then last week, just took those few days off to let the body just recuperate and recover, and touch wood, I felt good since.
And you felt good coming off the back of that Sunday group run as well? Because I know that was last Sunday, that was a pretty big one as well, especially given that you had not much running last week. That's quite like a sharp, an aggressive increase like that. You handled that one all right?
Yeah, well, I actually went into that one with a pretty open mind, and no pressure on myself to complete the full session. So I kind of knew that the pace would be grand. It would be the volume of the session that could be an issue. But I knew it was with a group, so that always makes it easier and more doable. And I also was just telling myself, like, if you do the 3 mile, the 2 mile, and the 1 mile, and don't do the last 2 and 3 miles, that's success. So I just thought I'll see how I feel, and yep, touch wood, actually felt really good. Fueled up on the Saturday evening, and then had a fair amount of fuel during the run as well. Again, just for the things or for the reasons that we've outlined before. So was well fueled, felt good, and then after it, I knew, like, yeah, I just need to now, because of that sort of big stimulus or big hit in one session, I just need to really recover now. So the last few days has really all been about recovery. So running slow and just respecting the recovery post session. So I'm getting the right adaptations to it. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's where
Fantastic,
we're at.
mate. Good to have you back running, frankly. And
Yeah.
have you got any? I know, obviously, Dublin's the main one. Have you got any smaller races in the interim?
Yeah, Belfast half. I Our mate Noel has organised actually a 10K for this Friday evening, but I'll probably just see how my body's feeling right now. I feel like I'm just getting back into it at the minute, so um, I just don't even feel like I'm anywhere near ready to race, or even mentally or physically ready to race. So that is supposed to be this Friday evening, which I do have a spot for. I don't know whether I'll race that or not. So that's that. Belfast Half Marathon is the 21st of September, so I'll be doing that. I'll be racing there. Looking forward to that actually, because I've done Belfast Half a couple of times, but I've used it as a training run actually. When I was training for London Marathon in 2022, London Marathon that year was in the October because of COVID. So I used Belfast Half that year as a marathon tempo. I did it at goal marathon pace. And then I did it like the year I started, or the second year of my running. I did it as a race, so I haven't raced it since, and it's a great course, great event. So I'm actually really looking forward, if everything goes well and goes to plan, to giving it a go, and hopefully being in decent shape to race it. And then yeah, we've got the big one in October, Dublin Marathons. That's where things are at the minute. Motivation, I wouldn't say, is extremely high right now.
Mm.
I would say still in the mud. Do you remember I was telling you, like, that's how I feel? I feel like I'm in the mud. I just need
Yeah.
to. I'm a big believer that action leads to motivation, and, like, I'm not. Motivation is not just going to be plucked from the sky. So I just know if I get through the next few weeks and don't put myself in the bin, that the motivation will flow and that'll follow, and I'll build hopefully some momentum. But right now, yeah, it's like I'm in the muck, mate, and just need to get through it.
I feel like you're doing awfully well for a man who's in the muck. Obviously, I can't feel how you're feeling, but you seem to be doing pretty well for, like I said, a man who's in the muck. So I completely agree. Honestly, I think I'm kind of somewhat going through a similar situation, right? But I feel like that motivation sometimes comes to me actually on some of those harder sessions, where you're in it, and then you get it done to a really high standard, and you're like, yeah, no, this is why I love doing this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm properly up for it. So who knows? Maybe all it'll take is a couple of runs and a couple of sessions, and you'll be like, yeah, okay, a couple of weeks
Yeah,
time.
for me, it's I get that feeling from those big group sessions actually.
Mm.
I
Yep.
think
Yep.
I really feed well off the energy of others, and I think when you're kind of in it together and get through the work together, that gives me a lot of motivation. Um, because yeah, I just love training with other people and in a big pack like that. So more of that, I think, and just continuing to put yourself in that environment will hopefully help as well. So I'll be endeavoring to train with the group and train with others as much as possible. You almost forget about what you're doing sometimes when you're training with a group, because
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're just having a bit of fun with your friends. So fun might be the wrong word, but I think you know what I mean. So
I,
hope
I get the
yeah,
gist.
hopefully just keep ticking the boxes, and just keep getting out the door. I actually ordered myself a couple of new pairs of shoes there. I'm going to take abuse for this, I
Hmm.
know already, from
Here we
the
go. What'd you
lads.
get? What'd you get?
But I've ordered a couple of pairs of shoes to well, I need them because I've 2 or 3 pairs that are ready for the bin, and I don't like whenever they're done. I don't keep them because it would just too many would add up. So Dad gets them, or they get demoted to walking slash grass cutting shoes. But I've ordered a number of different pairs to just try. So I won't keep anywhere near them all. But there are a few shoes that I haven't worn before. I've ordered the Brooks Glycerin. Never been a
Yep.
Brooks wearer, but I've read and heard really good things.
Hideous.
You know what I'm after? I know. Do you know what
So ugly.
I've ordered the all black of a few pairs. I'm a massive fan of a blackout shoe.
Only
Blackout.
if you've got black socks. Only if you've got black
No,
socks.
I
Only. Come on,
disagree.
man.
I kind of like
Nah,
just
what?
I kind of like random socks with the all black. Anyways, I'd be a big fan of having a blackout shoe. I was always loved a blackout football boot when I was playing football as well. But I like
Football
a
boot's
blackout
different.
shoe. It is. I like the blackout shoe for the winter time, but we're not in winter yet. But anyways, um, so I've ordered like 4 or 5 jogging shoes. So what I'm after is a bread and butter jogging shoe.
Hmm.
A nice.
Yep.
I probably get more excited for jogging shoes than I do for race shoes because you wear them every day. They're
You
like
wear 'em more. Yep.
they're like your companion. Do you know? A race
Mhm.
shoe's kind of just like the thing you put on
Old
your shoe when you
Faithful.
want it. Exactly.
Yeah.
They're like the old faithful. So Brooks Glycerin. I think I ordered the Asics Gel Nimbus.
I heard
Um,
really good. I actually had someone talking to me. Sorry to interrupt. One of the at the gym we get like these work placement students, and one of them works at the running company here in Melbourne. And he was chatting to me, and we were talking about like just like some decent daily trainers, and he was saying that the Gel Nimbus is like surprisingly good for one that tends to fly under the radar in actual like running circles. Like they give it to the gem pop all the time who have no idea about shoes, but for actual runners looking for a daily trainer. So yeah, it's a good one
so I'm
by
looking
the
forward to
sounds of
getting my feet into those. I actually did order a pair of the new Nova Blast as well, just to see how they
it.
feel. Now I've worn Nova Blast before and didn't love them, but that was quite a few years ago. So what I'll do is I'll just get them all on my feet and just decide what feels good. I actually have a feeling that I actually ordered. So those are the first three. I ordered the Nike Structure as well, which is
Yeah, yeah.
it's actually it's a support or it's a what's the word? Stability. It's a stability shoe, but I don't think it's a really severe stability shoe. So I've ordered that
Let's
as
have a
well,
look at
just
this.
to be honest, like I probably need 2 new jogging shoes or mileage shoes. So I'll keep 1 or 2.
It's a good looking
Those
shoe, the structure.
it is quite nice. So I ordered the
Yeah.
all black version of that. I know I've just gone blackout on all of them. I didn't order any. And normally I'm a man actually as well that does like a bright shoe, but I don't know, mate. I just something I don't know. So
But like, I
that's
just because I always go for white. If there's a white option, I don't
I like a
care what
white
I'm
as
gonna
well.
do to them. It's gotta be white out if I can.
Yeah, yeah. A white shoe just looks unreal, especially
Class, man.
a white racing shoe. But
Oof.
these are shoes just to plod the pavement and put some big miles in. I
Yeah.
have a feeling, mate, that I'm gonna like the Brooks. I don't know why. I just
I
have
feel
this
like you will.
suspicion. Yeah.
I haven't worn it. I can tell you, but I feel like they're going to come out and be like, yeah, look, this is because it's always the ones you'd least expect. And it's
And
the ugly
I
one as
like
well.
I like a shoe for running a lot of miles in that feels like a well built shoe. Like I
Mm,
don't mind about if it's a little bit heavier. Um, I don't care if it's. I kind of like something that feels like it's well put together and good quality and it's going to last.
mhm.
And I think the Brooks looks that way. It looks quite robust.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I actually loved my favorite mileage shoes that I've worn are probably the New Balance 1080 and the Saucony Triumph. I tried on the pair. I tried on the Triumph in McKeever's there this week, and I just didn't love how they felt on my feet at all. And then the Triumph 22, just the previous version, again they
Mhm.
changed it, and I didn't like it. So if I could get my hands on a pair of Triumph 21s, they were my favorite ever mileage shoe. And then the 1080s I love, but they just don't last. So they lose that feeling when you put them on your feet and you have your first run in them. You actually feel like you could do anything in them. You feel like you could do tempo runs. You feel like you could do strides, even though they're quite a chunky shoe. They
Mm.
just feel so light and so bouncy. But
Which version?
for me, I think it's the V14. I've worn the V12, the V13, and the V14. But
Yeah.
the most I think I had a couple of pairs of the V14.
That's the
Um,
newest, isn't it? The 14?
yeah, they lost that bounce very quickly for me. So that's why I haven't gone for another pair of those, because yes, they feel amazing for the first like couple of weeks, but then put 100, 150 miles in them, they just lose it. Whereas that Saucony Triumph, the Triumph 20, I don't know what it is. It's the one from a few
Yep.
years ago. I actually loved that shoe. Absolutely loved it. They lasted. Um, they felt sort of light and nimble, but also really well built, and like I could just run for hours in them. Do you know? They were just
Mm.
class. Just the best daily shoe that I've worn for a long, long time. Used to love the Hoka Clifton, but I fell out of love with that over the last year. So I feel like I need something like a trusty. I think I need a new trusty trainer.
You're looking
So
for your
that's what I'm
new Old
seeking.
Faithful.
Exactly, exactly. When I
I
started
get
running,
it.
mate, I just bought Hoka Clifton after Hoka Clifton. I loved them. Um, and anytime I wore something different, I just kept going back to the Hoka Clifton. So whenever that changed, and I think they changed the foam in it, to be honest, and the foam just started to feel really dead, and I just felt like I just didn't enjoy it at all. I've been sort of on the I've just tried a lot of different shoes, and yeah, the Triumph has probably been my favorite. But then, of course, they went and changed that. So I don't know why they do this. They sort of ruin something that's really good, and then you can't get your hands on the older versions. It's a bit frustrating. But I think everything's the same, whether it's football boots or golf clubs or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like just trying to find something decent again to just log miles in. Do you know that shoe that you just every time you want to go for every time you go for a run, it's just the shoe that you want to lift.
You automatically go for it. It's like muscle, some muscle memory. You're like, oh, I'm going
Yeah,
for the Cloud Eclipse drawer because that's my
yeah, yeah. And I
Old
love the
Faithful,
Vomero
100%.
actually. That Nike Vomero
Mm.
is a great shoe. I'll pick up another pair of those. I think.
The new
Um,
one, the 18, is
yeah,
it?
yeah. I
Yeah,
really like those.
pretty
Really
cool
like them.
looking.
They're class. Yeah, they're a brilliant shoe for jogging around in. So I'll probably get another pair of those at some stage.
Yeah,
But
nice.
keen to try something different too. So hopefully one of the 4 or 5 shoes that I've ordered will fit the bill, and I'll have a new jogging shoe to run around in.
You can have to report back. I'm eager to hear now what goes well.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And then what could happen, which is really frustrating too, is a shoe might feel great, uh, and then you might start running in it for a week or two, and you'll be like, it's just not what I
Bad
wanted. But
choice. Yeah.
that's kind of like that's just part of it, isn't it? The problem is now they're so expensive. Um,
It's ridiculous, man. I mean, now's a good time to be honest because there's a lot of like mid-year sales. I was just looking now when I was looking up a couple of those pairs you were talking about, and all of them, like even the 1080s that I've had my eye on as well for a while, are on sale, and things are cheaper here in Australia than they are in the UK. I'm not sure about Ireland or the US, but I know things in Australia are typically cheaper. So it's a dangerous game. I'm like, man, I could easily kind of pick up a few pair here, and again, it's risky, man. Um, yeah, if you, like you said, buy multiple pairs, and then especially if they're in a sale, you can't send them back.
yeah,
So it's like far out. If I buy a couple of pairs, don't like them, or they don't fit right, it's game over. You've just wasted basically $500, 150 quid. Not
yeah, it's
great.
too much money. It's too
It's
much
too
money.
much. All right. Before we think about wrapping up, Shlai, do you want me to recap what's been my week?
Yes, mate. I would love to hear it.
Um, yeah, so I mean, the people know what I've been up to post run Melbourne, and this week I think it's been a bit of a double-edged sword because I want to say this week, especially coming off the back of what realistically is. So I know we were talking about races being like a massive stimulus. I know Brady from I was listening to the Inside Running podcast boys, and they will always talk, or Brady always talks about how what like a race is basically a week's worth of training right there. And then for someone like me, for a beginner, I could put in an argument for 10 days or 2 weeks worth of training. And so I feel like I absorbed it quite well. And then again, still body not feeling amazingly great, but fitness, I reckon this has probably been the best week of sessions I've ever had, just because I've seen from the programming that David's given me that obviously the fitness that I've gained off the back of the half marathon is kind of being like tested. We've kind of changed around some of the session structures, doing a little bit more of kind of the tempo work, kind of 20-minute intervals, just kind of just slower than marathon pace. Like for instance, if I go back to Tuesday, I had 20 minutes, like I said, just slower than marathon pace into some like 4 minutes at faster than marathon pace. And then today, Friday, I had 2 by 3K at 4:05, which again is kind of just that's like half marathon pace, maybe just slower than half marathon pace. I guess half marathon pace is actually quite a bit faster than that. Yeah. Anywho, so I've seen that some of the intervals were harder than I was doing prior to the race, and even today on those 3K reps at 4:05, I was like, bro, this is like I'm literally cruising. I was on the brink of being able to nose breathe throughout those reps, and
Great.
it was fantastic. It was like one of those sessions where I was like, man, I am fitness wise, I was like, this is the fittest I've ever felt, right? And I again, I'm same as you. I keep an eye on my heart rate, and ideally, I like to keep it around the low, kind of around 160 to the low 160s. That's typically where my turning point is. And they were doing it. It did climb towards the end, but again, it's hot, so it's obviously winter here, right? So we're talking on most of my runs, it's probably between 5 and 8 degrees outdoors, and then as soon as you get inside, it's hot. It's on the treadmill, it's the gym, so something tells me that the heat probably has something to do with the heart rate.
Isn't it great
Um,
though when you get that feeling of fitness?
it's
Things
so
just feel
good.
like they're flowing a little bit more. And that's when you know that fitness is really coming on. I think you can always kind of get through a session and heart rate could be the same. But then when you get a session where everything just feels like it's flowing and the perception of effort. I mean, I think the warm up comes down. I find just with a lot of those like interval sessions, when I do
Mm,
that progressive. So if I do like the 10-minute very, very light jogging and then I go into
mhm.
like 10 minutes steady or progressive
Yep.
10 minutes and I finish like even slower than marathon pace, but I'm still moving. I feel like my intervals, because I'm primed, my body's kind of much warmer. I feel like the session goes much smoother and I feel better. But that perception of effort that you've just mentioned or feeling of fitness, it can't be beat.
Mate, and I remember you saying like right early on when we did the podcast, it was like fitness is a feeling. And I felt this week, I've really felt it, even on the warm ups. So, like when you're warming up for, I don't know if you get this, but because I do a lot of my interval sessions on the treadmill, like the warm ups are pretty bleak because you're like, fuck, I've got to be in on this thing for like 16 minutes. And then I've got to be doing basically like 30 to 40 minutes worth of work. And then I got to do 3K back down. And it's like that warm up's like horrible. Whereas today and Tuesday, I'm like, man, this is so easy. I'm just like, it feels like walking. I'm here, I'm nose breathing. I'm like, I could comfortably hold a conversation. And so I was getting that. But I think despite feeling like easily the fittest I've ever felt, I think I'm now realizing that it's coming off the back of Ballarat. I think I did a lot more damage than I initially realized because it's like, well, I've been treating the plantar fasciitis basically since we've spoken about it. I've been managing it since 2 weeks after Ballarat, and now what's basically happened is at least what I think's happened is where I've changed the way I'm running. The foot extensor, so the kind of arch on the top of your foot, right near your if you just type in kind of like foot extensor tendon, um, it's been painful there for probably like 3 weeks, and it's one of those things that's now I'm back on anti-inflammatories for it because it's swelled. Yeah, swelled. I think so.
Swollen?
Yeah, it's swollen, but it's swelled. I guess it started swelling
Yeah,
up
true.
at the start of the week, and ironically, I think it was just me wearing a bad pair of like just lifestyle shoes, and so it got to the point where I was like properly swollen. I was like, man, this is so annoying. I have to get back on the anti-inflams. Even today, it's like felt fine initially, but then it was almost as though I just tied my laces on a bit too tight, and it was super uncomfortable. And as soon as I took my race shoes on the carbons, I had the Pro 4s on. As soon as I got back into the Super Blast, which I was wearing for my warm up and cool down, it felt better. But then rest of the day, it's just super uncomfortable again. So it's one of those things I'm going to have to keep an eye on, because again, I'm still managing the plantar fasciitis. I still get heel pain every now and then, and it kind of swells up. So whatever I'm doing isn't really working in terms of management. And yeah, honestly, I feel like I'm at the stage where I'm kind of realizing this is what happens if you get into a sport that's as high impact as running this late in your kind of, I guess, athletic career. Because yeah, 30 is not old, but it's old from a perspective of I'm not going to heal as quickly as I did when I'm 20, right?
Mm.
At least that's my opinion. So I'm kind of just trying to hang on and hope this I can rehab this before. Like the only thing I'm worried about is Melbourne. Basically, like I've got a 5K in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to do a half in September. But if I have to miss those, it's not the end of the world. It's just I need to make sure I'm good for Melbourne. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you know what though? What I also think is with more years behind you of running, your soft tissues and your musculoskeletal system will adapt
Mm,
and will become more accustomed to the load and become stronger with more running. But what you got to manage is the here and now, haven't you? You've
hmm
really got to not put further damage into your body. Yeah, mate, you're young, you're healthy. Like you'll be grand. Don't let it get under your skin too much, and don't think this is just the way it's going to be. But I think sometimes when you're dealing with something for such a long period of time, and you feel like you're doing the right things that to fix it, and it's not fixing, that can be difficult. At the same time, you don't just want to stop running because you've got races in the calendar and everything else. But no, you just gotta stick it out. You're in the mud as well. You know,
mm,
it's just part of that is just unfortunately or maybe fortunately, that is just if the sport was easy, it would just be like it would be easy and it would be boring and whatever else. So you just gotta stick with it and know that there are better days down the track. Hopefully for both of us. And I think it's probably good for the listener to hear too that like it's not all just training and PBs and running
mm,
races that go to plan. It's dealing with stuff as well, and I think having a positive attitude about it is going to help. And
100%.
you'll get through it. You will get through it, mate. Um, I dealt with like an Achilles issue for like a year. It's probably more than a year actually. Just the year that I was in Liverpool studying my teaching, my Achilles was just giving me jip, and it took a good year to manage it, and I could manage it at the time, but it was like a lot of frustration and a lot of yeah, just changing things and just trying to deal with it, ups and downs. It would be fine, and then it would be bad, and then it would be fine, and then it would be bad, and it was like just continuously trying to keep it right. But you'll get through it.
Yeah,
You'll get
I
through
think
it.
that's exactly it when it kind of is good and then goes back, and it's that constant up and down and the uncertainty. That I think that's almost worse than something that's like, okay, this is like a break, for instance. It's like, I know it's obviously no one wants a stress fracture or anything, but you kind of know that it's there. It's not gonna suddenly feel better one day because it's broken. You just go, okay, 6 weeks. There's nothing I can do, and then you ease back into it. Or is that it's the soft tissue stuff that it's like, oh, one
Tendons as
day
well.
or yeah, one pair of shoes might feel really good, and then the next week that pair of shoes doesn't feel good, or a different pair. I think that's what gets to me. Like even my heel, right? So I went out for I had 14K Wednesday, and I was in a pretty beat up pair of my Fuel Cell Rebels, and this shoe felt fantastic last week, and it just didn't feel great. And then I ran in today, for instance. I warmed up and cooled down for my session in the Super Blast, and did the session in the Pro Fours, and I didn't feel my heel at all. I was like, man, I wouldn't know I've had an issue with my heel, which is the top of my foot. So it's like, mate, I need some consistency here, because I like it's so hard to know what you're actually working against, and what needs to
Are
be.
you wearing a lot of soft shoes? So it sounds like the vast majority of your footwear is very soft. And I know like there's a trend in running footwear, like most of the shoes now are dead soft, and like even shoes that aren't super soft in comparison to the shoes of
Mm.
5 or 6 years ago, they are still very soft. But it sounds like you're wearing a lot of high stack soft
I,
shoes.
to be honest, I think I am. Like again, I did try and ease off of that to try and get into the fuel cell rebels, which are not soft. Then they're quite. I mean, they're not. I wouldn't say they're super flat, but they're definitely the flattest pair I've got. And
They are
I
flat, but are they not? Are they not soft?
I don't think they are. All I can feel
Okay.
inside them is I don't sink into them. I just feel road, right, honestly. Whereas like I've gone off of I haven't worn the Cloud Eclipse at all this week because they've been a little bit uncomfortable. And um for me, the Cloud Eclipse and what else do I wear? I can't even remember what shoes I own now. Um Anyway, but that's why I switched to the Super Blast as well, because for me, I actually don't think the Super Blast felt that soft. I didn't feel like I was sinking into them. Um, and like even today, they just feel chunky for me. I think the reason I don't like them so much is that they're very heavy, and I'm not a heavy person, so I feel like there's just a lot of ground contact time. But they felt comfortable today, like genuinely really comfortable. So who knows? It might be a case of trying to get into a pair that isn't so soft. And yeah, because obviously all my workouts are done in pretty cushioned shoes. I mean, the Pro 4's definitely cushioned, but
Yeah. I just know whenever I take off, like I wore the Vaporflies on Sunday for the long run, the 21 miles with the 3:21:23 miles at marathon pace. I remember when I took those off, or at the end of the run when we were doing a couple of mile cool down, I could actually feel like my plantar on both feet. I could feel it like uh under quite a bit of strain. Like I
yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
wait to get the shoes off and get into like my Birkenstocks because I just knew my feet had had enough of that soft and that kind of like maybe it was just the run as well. Like you have to remember
true.
you've just ran a lot of miles, but I think the soft shoes definitely don't. The plantar definitely doesn't like softness. I know anytime like my plantar, because like my plantar on again on both feet, mostly on my right, would get a little bit tight from now and then. Um, and like sometimes when I get out of bed, I can feel it. So you kind of first few steps are a little bit of a hobble.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
uh, Not at the minute, but sometimes that is the case. And like I know it's actually being barefoot on harder ground that actually makes that feel better. Whereas if I jumped out of bed and hopped into a pair of soft shoes, they would feel crap.
Yeah.
Getting onto the hard wooden floor, or even outside in my bare feet, actually relieves that really, really quickly. So I'm just thinking, would there be a case to be made for maybe wearing a firmer shoe for
I tell you,
jogging around in? But then again, just to sorry to finish it,
you go.
it's actually really difficult to find
Yeah,
a
it
firm
is.
shoe now. They're all so soft.
I was just going to add to that as well because I felt exactly the same because for the longest time I couldn't walk barefoot because my heel was so swollen and then it was so painful. I couldn't, and it was only after I saw a podiatrist and have obviously rehabbed it and it's a lot better that I can walk barefoot now, and I don't feel like I'm still kind of there's something there not allowing me to put my heel down super hard, but it is so much more comfortable, and I don't get nearly as much pain through the top of my foot as well when I'm walking barefoot. And I think a lot of that, to be honest, is just the pressure of wearing like lacing up shoes over what something is. I mean, when it's swollen, it's bruised as well. And I'm pretty sure that's what is causing a lot of the pain in the top of my foot is swelling and bruising. And when you're tying up a pair of shoes, especially to run in, it's quite tight. So I think it's that pressure. So yeah, but ultimately, I think this is all something I'll just kind of feed back to the physio, try and see him this week and get some kind of roadmap as to how best to deal with this. But um,
Yeah,
yeah,
just I guess trust it'll come good. It will.
I'm
It
sure it
might
will.
take a little bit of time, but it'll come good, mate.
Yep.
When's your next race?
It's actually 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I've got a 5K. Just it's nothing hectic. Again, treating it kind of as a training run. So yeah, that's shouldn't take much doing, and I'll try and do the half, local half. It's about a month after that. So yeah, to be honest, I'd rather make sure I'm good for the half because I really enjoy the half distance. That's such good fun. Um, but yeah, again, I think now I'm at the point where if the physio was like, look, you need to kind of give this a rest or give these sessions a rest, I just do it. I don't care anymore. I just as long as
Yeah,
I'm kind of pain free and
healthy.
good for Melbourne.
Yeah, yeah.
That's definitely the priority, man.
You got to play the long term game. What is
100%.
what's the training plans for this weekend coming?
Great question. Saturday tomorrow will be my day off, as always, and then Sunday, I think I've got a longie, so I'm just going out. I haven't had a steady long run since the week before Run Melbourne, so that would have been about
Three,
three
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 weeks.
weeks ago. So I've just got 25K. I'll go out easy. I've got easy slash steady, which I kind of enjoy these ones because
Yeah, they're class.
it's the ones where you can kind of just, like you said, not worry about pace. You just kind of ease into it. And if you feel like
Get
you've
into
got
a
something
rhythm.
to give, yeah, you kind of go for some. So for me, typically on these runs, I'll start about like 5K, maybe a little bit over 5:10, 5:20 pace, super early as well when I go. And then by the end of it, I'm kind of 4:30s, 4:40s, and it's
Yeah,
like comfortable.
you get moving. Yeah, I love runs like that.
Yeah,
I think they're the
great fun,
best,
man.
most enjoyable type of run.
I'd
Um,
probably agree. They're the ones you finish going like, yeah, I enjoyed that, right? I don't feel dead, but I feel like I got something out of it. But what about you, man? What's the plans?
um, jogging for a couple of days. Jogging today,
Hmm.
jogging tomorrow. Might do a few strides, or hill strides tomorrow, and then Sunday I think we're doing a progressive run. So,
Oh, nice.
just a long progression. So probably 20 to 21 miles, where we start
Big
really
one.
easy and get down to around marathon pace or slightly faster by the end. Um, so we did that actually in the build around this time in the build for London. We did that and it was a great. It was one of the first runs of the block and it was really enjoyable. So, um, I kind of love that type of run in a group as well because it's like you're just constantly turning the heat up a little bit
Mm.
throughout the run. It's a really enjoyable run to do as part of a group because you know everyone's starting to work and
Mhm.
it's an enjoyable one. So, well, hopefully it's enjoyable. So, I always find too, as when a run gets more difficult as you get further into it, it's easier to work a little bit harder because like mentally you've got most of the run done. So when you get to
Mhm.
like mile 15, mile 16, when it's starting to get quite a bit harder, you're almost like willing to suffer a bit more. 'Cause you're like, well, I'm 16 mile deep now, so like, there's kind of, whereas when you're at if you're at mile 2 or mile 3 and you're starting a piece of hard work in a 21-mile long run, you're like, oh, I've got so
It's been a
far to
long
go.
morning. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Even though you always get through it and whatever, it's like once you get to 15, 16 and it starts getting a little bit harder, it's kind of like it's more enjoyable because,
100%.
well, you're in the deep end now,
You're
so
there. You might as well
you're
finish it.
there. You might as well
Yeah,
finish it exactly. It
lovely, man.
becomes easier to do the work mentally. So that's the plan. Anyway, if I don't do the progression run, I'll do an easy run, an easy long run myself, just like that, similar to yourself, easy steady, just time on feet, on feeling, sort of just running to rhythm and trying to stay relaxed and everything else, which I actually feel like I think I've got a little bit worse at that when I'm on my own. I've did a couple of long runs over the last number of months that have been that with that intention, and I feel like I've got them wrong. Um, where I've just maybe overcooked it a little bit too early, and then I've had to like back off a bit. Maybe it's fatigue in the body, and I probably should have just eased off earlier. But I think a few years ago I had a really good sense for that type of run, maybe because I was doing it more often, and maybe because I was training more on my own. But I don't know. When you get that type of run right, like I say, it's a really enjoyable one to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can get really moving towards the end and you feel fantastic. Um, yeah, so that's the plan.
Lovely, mate. Anything else happening for your weekend? Anything fun?
No, mate, I'm going to be glued to the Tour de France as I have been for the last couple of weeks. I've been following it
Hmm.
pretty closely, even though GC's
It's all
all but
done.
finished up. Well, I reckon it is, unless there's incident today.
Mm,
Yeah, I just think nobody can hang with Tade.
no.
He's in third gear when the rest are on their limit, which is scary to say the least.
It's quite frightening what that human is capable of.
That's the way to put it, isn't it? I've been reading a great book as well at the minute, recommended by Michael, one of my good friends and a guy that I've coached for a while. He recommended a book by David Miller, who's one of the commentators on ITV, ex pro cyclist from the days of Lance. He was he was pretty good. He was one of the top guys. But he's got a book called Racing on the Edge, which is all about his doping and he basically he tells his whole story around the doping that he was involved in and what he was doing and why he was doing it and how he advocates for people that have been involved in doping to kind of tell their story as such because it can help the sport as a whole. So that's been a brilliant read over the last started about a week ago and I'm almost finished it now. So reading that at the moment, along with following the tour. So it's all things cycling. I follow a few good Twitter pages as well that I like to read day to day, just telling some of the inside stories of the tour. I absolutely love the Tour de France and I think like I said to you before, I'm more engrossed by cycling than I ever am by athletics. So, yeah, that'll be this weekend, mate. What about you?
Yeah, I wish I could watch more of the tour, frankly, because it's just on a terrible time, man. Like, unless it's the Tour Down Under, the cycling is just not. Again, all we get is the 10-minute highlights on TNT. Come on YouTube.
Too short, aren't they?
It's so short. Like, I get that's all they can really do, but man, yeah, it is kind of lost because it's like 10 minutes and you've got a 4 hours, 5 hour stage done. So, yeah, I'll keep up to it, but I'm a bit behind on actually watching the stages. I'm just seeing the news come through of the finishes, but otherwise, yeah, my
had
little
the
one's
first.
birthday. Sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. No, go on ahead. You went to just. I was just going to say
Yeah.
that the Ben O'Connor won yesterday, the Aussie. It was the first
Yeah,
non-European of the tour.
I really don't like him. Neither does my partner. Like he comes across really badly, like really,
Spoiled.
really badly. Very spoiled, and I just don't like. Again, I'm not Australian, frankly, and so I don't get much of a kick out of seeing. No offense to the Australians, but it's just like I get kick out of seeing Brits or Englishmen, obviously on the stage. Obviously, I like seeing the Irish do well for you, and I do like seeing the Aussies do well for all the Aussie fans. But I don't get the same kick as when I see like the Yates brothers do well or whatever. But yeah, it's don't really care for Ben, frankly.
No, me neither. He definitely does. Like you say, he doesn't come across. He doesn't. He comes across a bit entitled, a bit spoilt. I think.
Yeah,
I've heard
it's
him a
just
few times, and I've heard him a few times when results haven't gone his way, and it's just like, well, mate, you're the guy that's on the bike, you know, and
yeah, plays victim a lot. It's a lot of like kicking the. I need a what's a cliche? What is it? I've lost it, but insert cliche here where he kind of kicks up a fuss and is a bit kind of grumpy for a reason that
yeah,
is
throws the
is
toys
his
out of
fault.
the pram, doesn't he?
Toys out the pram. That's it. That's the one I was looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, my weekend otherwise celebrate my little one's birthday tomorrow. We're gonna go to the aquarium, mate, because my little one
Nice.
fucking loves fish, eh? So, and worst comes to worst, if he doesn't like fish, we'll take him on a free tram, because he loves trams. He like little boys. If you ever have a little boy, and anyone who's got a little boy, like they love automobiles, whether it's cars, whether it's tractors, trains, diggers. Mate, fucking loves a digger. So we've always got a backup plan. If he doesn't like the aquarium that we spent $80 to get into, we just take him on a free tram. Happy days, you know. So
Class.
that's basically it for me, man. And then Sunday will be a quiet one, I presume, unless I'm forgetting about something and I'll get told off for forgetting while recording a podcast. But no, and then next week, actually, it's Nicole's birthday. Definitely will not forget that. If you're watching Nicole, definitely wouldn't forget that ever.
Don't forget that, mate.
Hot now. Nice. Shit, sweating. But yeah, so not much on for me. And yeah, look, man, we've been recording for a hot minute. I think might be time to wrap up and kind of let you
Need to
get
some
on with your
breakfast into
day.
me.
Yeah, breakfast for you, bed for me. But yeah, so thank you as always, guys, for tuning in. Like, we're glad we could give you a normal podcast. And yeah, next week slightly different again. I won't be around next week, but Adam will be around. So me and Adam will hash out the details of that podcast. Whether it's a monologue, a solo, or we get a guest on, who knows? We'll find out and keep you guys posted. But in the meantime, thank you as always for watching. If you have a moment to like, subscribe, follow, whatever it is, that would be fantastic. Means the world to us. And yeah, if anyone's training or racing this weekend, good luck, enjoy, and we are looking forward to checking with you guys again soon. Thank you and speak soon.